Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today here this great afternoon, this Wednesday afternoon. I hope that you're all enjoying yourselves and keeping safe. This is Mr. Walter with Around the World with Mr. Walter, and I have a great show for you today. I am a Harry Potter fan. I've seen most of the movies as well, my kids as well, and they have read the books. So what a great time to just celebrate a little bit of Harry Potter as we go around the world trying to find and discover these great, wonderful places, the magical places in the world where the movies were filmed, where the places that took this great background for the stories and where the story actually started. A great environment today, just kind of watching and looking around through Harry Potter. Are there any Harry Potter fans out there? Please chime in the chat. I am here live like every day, bringing you some great inspired content. So we're celebrating Harry Potter today. We're going to actually go to the places using Google Earth at some of the great places that we have here for Harry Potter. Let's get started. I'm already in the chat. I see that Mr. Adam is watching, as well as some of our other friends that are actually coming in. I hope that everything is clear. You get a chance to hear me okay. So we'll start moving through Harry Potter and the different places that this movie, the full series was filmed. So we're going to start. Let me take a few of these images, kind of out, so we can take the full view of the board, and we'll be able to actually start exploring a few places, and we'll move. So let's start exploring some of the great places, from the Harry Potter movies. So let's kind of zoom out and first and just see. What's really interesting is that we're going to be spending most of our time right in Europe, actually here in Great Britain, as you can see the full island, and we'll be able to actually kind of move along and see some of the great places that the movie has been filmed. A great tie-in of actual true places that we will be able to watch. We have almost 12 places. And in order to kind of drive around and move around the world, I went and got my Harry Potter mug with some butterbeer as well, just ready for us to move back and forth. So a great time, just enjoying myself, and as well as I hope that you guys are enjoying as we're going to be moving and going through the different places where the Harry Potter movies were filmed. So we're going to start initially just right away. So we're going to go to London's King's Cross, which is actually a train station, and this train station is where the famous 9 3/4 alleyway was done for the Hogwarts Express. So it actually is a true place here in London's King's Cross. So let's move further in, as you can see. So where is England? And anyways, so we are right here. Here's Texas, and let me turn the world around. So here's Texas, here's Central America, South America, and if we go just across, we'll be able to see Europe. And this island right here is where we have, the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom kind of just has that great place. So let's kind of fly in to London's King's Cross on our first stop of the places celebrating Harry Potter and celebrating where these movies were filmed. So let's fly right in and go straight all the way down to King's Cross, the train station. And we'll be able to actually move right around. And there's the platform right there. There's right on the wall, there's a little plaque that says platform 9 3/4, where the kids kind of run in, and Harry catches the Hogwarts Express at this major London rail intersection and train station. So you can see, what a great place to actually come in and take some pictures. Let's see it from the outside. which is just a beautiful building and very iconic as well. You see how all the great arches and a very traditional looking entryway for the cross of trains that we see here in London. You also see the sky, which is a little bit of that gloomy dark. It rains a lot in London, so it kind of reflects that as well. So as we kind of look around, first, here's the actual train station. Definitely looks a little bit different as it would, and you can see all the tourists, how they're taking pictures with this famous area here at the 9 3/4, the trolley entryway, so where Harry catches the Hogwarts Express. So it's really interesting because in the movie we see that this is excuse me. So this is completely right to the side of the Hogwarts Express as they go in, but in reality it's a full-fledged station. As you can see, the full dome, as well as the entryways that go right on the underground, as well as all the top sections. So on our first stop here at the in London, we go to the train station in King's Cross. So let's move right back out from where we are, and we see again that where we're turning the world around. There's United Kingdom, and we're just gonna fly right back to our next stop on the Celebrating Harry Potter, and we're gonna go all the way to Scotland. And right next door, here's the Scotland. It features the Hogwarts Express as it's just gonna go through the countryside. It has been used for several of the Harry Potter films, and this is iconic 1901 state railway viaduct that features this curving 24 arch span. So you see all the arches as well, just a feat of engineering, and then you see how the train runs right on top, and you can definitely see and feel how this great area was used for the Harry Potter movies, as it pans in and right into the cars where Hermione, Ron, and Harry are traveling to Hogwarts. So great pictures of actual places that were in movies, and specifically during the Harry Potter movies, celebrating as we move along. So interesting and great places that we have here right away. So let's move right on along. So we are actually taking a quick look at the viaduct that it was used for the Hogwarts Express, and taking this great picture as the iconic arches were used, and we see how it just moves all across here in Scotland with the biosphere. So a very interesting, great place as we take a quick look. So let's move right back out, and then we'll journey right back in. So as we are exploring again, we can take a quick look of our Earth. Here is Europe, here's Spain, Italy. We are looking through United Kingdom today, as well as here's the continent of Africa. And as we move along, we keep seeing some other places. Here's all the Middle East. There is India, some parts of Asia and Russia. We have Australia right at the bottom. And then we have the North and South Pole. And as we cross along, we actually see the United States. We have Canada way up there, as well as Central America, South America as well, and some of these great places. So, and you can see as I pan a little bit out, our great world, and you see the universe kind of spanning right over there, and we can definitely see some great places. So let's kind of move right back in and get closer as we explore these areas of the Harry Potter movies and celebrating the places, the real life magical places that were used in these movies as we kind of move along and featured, as we've seen the Howard Express as well as some of the other films. And today I'm having my butterbeer, enjoying a little bit as we kind of move across these whole areas. So thank you for joining and thank you for being here as we're going to be keeping. And if you have any questions, please make sure that you send me a note on the chat. So we will be going right back and moving forward. We'll see the next place on our Harry Potter extravaganza. So we will go all the way to London and we'll go right in one of these great iconic markets. So we're flying in right now and we're standing in Diagon Alley in part of the Harry Potter films. This is actually a historic Victorian indoor marketplace that features all sorts of stores and restaurants and bars, but you can see why they chose this just beautiful place right here. A beautiful Victorian age indoor marketplace that was used as the set, or actually some of the places for Diagon Alley, and as well as some other of London Hall Market. So you can see right here why these places have become such great staples of the Harry Potter movies, as we can see these quaint buildings, these quaint shops, and just beautiful decorations of how the Victorian era and have been kept up, and also was used for these movies. So let's kind of walk around a little bit here. So we're in the market in London, England, and as I turn a little bit around and see if you can see right down some of the streets, and you can see some of the smaller shops that are right there, as well as you can see some of the smaller bookshops, and you can see that we will. This is the great thing. We'll just move a little bit around and we'll just take a quick look right in the middle of this, Victorian indoor marketplace. Indoor, you can see all the structures, which has been used in several of the Harry Potter movies because of this great looking infrastructure and architecture that fits that world. So definitely you can feel that as you kind of walk around, you can feel that you're in one of the Harry Potter movies. So very interesting, very, very pretty. Not only being part of this full Diagon Alley used in the Harry Potter films, but also the Victorian outlook, and it's an indoor marketplace. So featuring stores, restaurants, and bars. So this is our third stop right here in London. We are kind of moving along. We actually went to Scotland, very close by, and we saw some of the areas of how the Howard Express moved from one place to another. And now we're taking a quick look at some of the great, beautiful places in London featured in the Harry Potter movies. So let's kind of zoom out again and stop where we are. So we are right there. And we're just going to move along and see the next stop on our Harry Potter film movies. So we are going to go all the way, to one of these beautiful places, which is Alnwick Castle. So Alnwick Castle is in England, and it was actually featured as Hogwarts in the first few films. So you can see, and I actually put the picture right away, and you can see that this is where the kids started to learn how to use their brooms and fly around. And as some of the kids kind of bump against this wall, you see Dumbledore and some other of the other characters, kind of poke their heads out the window. Absolutely. A beautiful place, beautiful looking castle, an actual castle. So this castle is inhabited, right? Inhabited, I'm sorry, and the castle offers tours and Harry Potter inspired events like broomstick training. So it's really interesting so that they're using the castle as references to the movie. So let's kind of fly all the way in, and then we'll be able to actually take a closer look at the castle, this castle in England. You can see, and we'll take a bird's eye view of the castle and see all the grounds, and it actually does have the wall that goes all across. So as we move all the way down, you can actually see some of the places, and you can recognize some of the areas, where all these films were shot. So I believe that it's right against this area where the broom flying training was done with Harry Potter. But you can see what a great, incredible usage of castles, or this castle in England for Harry Potter. Now, one of the things is that it also, as you can remember, and when we started looking at some of the other film areas, so castles in England and castles in Scotland and some others have been used as well for other movies, like the Xavier School for Gifted Mutants. So it's really interesting because those movies also featured beautiful castles that were then converted, and some of the interior shots of the hallways were also featured in these movies. So, but these are actually true places. As we see from the top view, the Alnwick Castle in England, featuring as Hogwarts School for the first couple of films. And then we'll actually be able to move right along for the rest of the films as we kind of walk through our Harry Potter celebration today. So, what do you think? Are there any places? Who is your favorite character? Who is actually coming in and who was actually having lots of fun with Harry Potter? So this is Alnwick Castle that we see right in front. And who is your favorite character? Chime in right in the chat and make sure that you let me know. And we will be moving right along as we kind of take the next step. And let me stop where we are, and as we pan out, here we go, England and Scotland, and we're right in the area here in Europe. So we're going to keep on moving, and we're going to see this great place, which is Christ Church. I also in the College of Oxford, England. So this set, or this area, was used for the main grounds, the Hogwarts dining hall. It was inspired by this majestic university college. It's a great Renaissance, great hall. So let's take a quick look. So you can definitely see this, the great hall and how the movie was inspired. And, true also some of the paintings as the kids kind of moved back to their rooms, the paintings was also inspired. So they took a lot of the inspiration how this great hall looks to be, the Hogwarts dining hall. So this is a true place that then we see reflected back on movies, but it's not everything is just set. There are true magical places such as this that here in England. So let's fly all the way down and see, how this dining hall was used, for some of the Harry Potter movies. So as we fly right down back to the college in Oxford, England, we see the full college. You see how some of the open grounds as well, and the college as it expands right throughout this area. And one of the great dining halls that we see here, we see that the Christ Church was used as a set for Hogwarts dining hall in this majestic university. So it's a Renaissance great hall, then it was actually used. And you can see the size of the college. And as you see right in the courtyard, right in the middle, you can actually start thinking a little bit of where, they have told us how the authors and all the creators of Harry Potter movies actually started to think on how to set up Quidditch and some of the other events that we see in the movies, which is a lot of fun. So as we move along, some real places that were used for inspiration or actually were used to shoot some of the Harry Potter movies. as a great segue to explore England. Thank you, Mr. Ben. So cool. My daughter just started rereading the whole series, now that they have time. So now that you have time, yes, reread them. Just magical places, great. Now just make sure that if she's reading them, make sure that she watches this video with Mr. Walter Around the World, as we are actually taking a look of where some of these great films where used some of the real life locations to do all the films of our Harry Potter. So great. So let's kind of keep on moving. Let's pan out a little bit more. And there we are in Oxford, England, right there. And then we're just going to move to the next spot. So one of the interesting spots, and as we move along through the movies, we see not only the traditional English countryside, but we also are able to see some of the newer places, making it a lot more contemporary. So this is what we're going to see is this Millennium Bridge, which is a suspension bridge in London. And this was a scene in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince that the Death Eaters destroy. So it is an elegant steel bridge that crosses the River Thames. So we'll fly right in, and we'll get a chance to see this great structure in London, and you can see this beautiful place as we take a quicker look at the Millennium Bridge, used for the set in which Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and the battle that happened with the Death Eaters. So, a great location. This is the River Thames that crosses London, and you can see some of the other iconic places and bridges across London. So if we pan out a little bit, we're able to see London on, full view. So a great location as we kind of move around and we kind of churn the full city. And what's really beautiful about specifically some of these great cities is that we have the ability to actually look straight right in some of the alleyways and some of the streets, since it's almost all mapped out. So as we kind of move along, and we'll be able to kind of look and see some of these great places. Now, other films also been done, and as we move closer, you can actually see the Ferris wheel right here, setting for other great movies. Some of these buildings right at the edge as well, the Big Ben, as well as home for some of the Sherlock Holmes movies, as well as James Bond. So great places that we see here in England. But today we're going and we're taking a quick look at the Millennium Bridge that crosses the River Thames, and also was used for the Harry Potter set and Harry Potter movies. Some of the great action sequences of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince as they completely destroy this bridge fighting the Death Eaters. So a great, incredible place that we can see. All right. So again, some of the great questions that we can take is, who are your favorite characters? What are they like? Which ones that you like? And our activity today is that we're going to actually try to make some of another cardboard standee for Harry. So we'll be able actually to kind of look around and move as we pan out from where we are, and then we're just going to get back to our next stop on the celebrating Harry Potter right through England. So the next stop is a great little cafe. It's a very small little place, and it's called the Elephant House. So the Elephant House, and why it's so important, is because this is where J.K. Rowling famously wrote Harry Potter. So she would come over, have some coffee, have some cake, and sit right there and write in this reader-friendly cafe in Edinburgh. So right outside, so imagine how incredible a small little cafe was the site of where all these great magical places started. So as J.K. Rowling would sit and would write and would get inspired by this magical world, it is from this little small place that are some of our great movies have come along. So another great little place right in the side of Edinburgh. So let's go fly where she was and just kind of take a little bit of memory lane. Can you imagine just sitting there and kind of walking around and taking this all the surrounding places here in Edinburgh to be able to be added as then first a book, then a series, and then a full-fledged movies. So beautiful little areas right on the edge. You see, some of the houses as well as some of the churches in a little tiny cafe. Right, you see how close I can get, and that is right here in this little tiny cafe in Edinburgh, here in England. It was the whole movie and everything got started. So an incredible place that lets you know, that let your imagination wander. You have some time today. You have to write a story, write something magical. Follow Mr. Adams into the Dungeonverse as we explore all sorts of fantastical places. And I'll show you some of the great places around our world that you can use as reference, so you can create your own adventures, being some type of adventures in terms of places such as magical, creative locations such as the Harry Potter movies, or adventures such as James Bond, or some other great epic stories that you can write from home, and you can explore the world right here using some of these great tools that we have available. All right, so as we kind of move right back and kind of just take a step back here in our world, now let's move to the next stop on our Harry Potter locations. We have visited a few already. We have visited the 9 3/4 platform to take the Hogwarts Express. We have gone to Scotland and we have seen how some of these great places were used in the movies. Now we've gone to these marketplaces in England where the Diagon Alley was also filmed and used as reference. We went to Oxford College, that was used also as a reference to create the great dining hall in Hogwarts, as well as we've gone to the castle, which was initially where it was shot for to become, or actually to look like the school Hogwarts, and where the kids were actually being taught how to use their brooms. So now we are now on Elephant House, a little tiny cafe in Edinburgh, England, where everything started as J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter from these very tables. So let's move along and let's go to the next stop. And we're going to cross right alongside, right next door, and we're going to go all the way to the United States, and we're just going to take a look of the incredible world that has been created in Orlando. So as we move back into Florida, we're just going to visit the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It's the theme park in Orlando, Florida. So imagine how from that small little table in Edinburgh, then a full park in Orlando, Florida was created. So wannabe wizards and witches take the whole Hogwarts Express to this magical attraction featuring rides based on the movie, as kind of we take a quick look of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Orlando, Florida. So as we kind of go all the way in, you see some of the streets, and you see how this great places, and we're just going to be walking around a little bit as we kind of take right here. So we see some of the other attractions, and we'll see if we can just take just the bridge across. I'm not sure if it's down the street or along, so we'll go right over there and see if we can find the entrance of Harry. Oh, there we go. Some of the buildings that were recreated from the movies, and we'll see if we can actually take cross and look around where it is. I think it's actually down the street. So we'll just kind of walk along a little bit and see if we can get all the way to the area where the whole world of Harry Potter was actually created. So yes, I think it's right down the street, and you see how the actual place that we were looking at, which was King's Cross, the railway station that we saw right at the very beginning. It has a complete replica right there. So in Orlando, Florida, a complete replica of um, the English train station was actually done, so we can actually take the Hogwarts Express and kind of move along and head into the magical world of wizarding world of Harry Potter. So a great place right here, and how we keep on taking some of the pictures, and you see how King's Cross, the entrance, and then it kind of moves along. So great places. And this is inside, or at least a little bit down the street, when they have a fire breathing dragon that is perched right on top in the bank, and you see all the rest of the architecture that was actually brought. So an incredible, great feat for us to enjoy and walk inside that world. So a beautiful place right here in Orlando, Florida, and we'll see. Well, I'm see if I can take a quick look right from on top as we kind of look down, and this is the full park. And I'm going to see if I can get as close as I can and see if we can see the dragon perched right on top of there it is. So absolutely, we get a chance to see the actual dragon perched right on top of the building, and you see all the alleyways that are now built at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So a great picture, taking it from space and then put together through Google Earth. So a fun, great element of actually coming here and being able to see it. So if you're actually looking and just read along, just get back to those books, read again the Goblet of Fire, and read the rest of the books. And I think you have a lot of fun revisiting that world. And then make sure that you use Mr. Adams' dice rolling mechanics, and that way you can actually create your own adventure and let us know. So as we kind of pull right out from the area here in Florida. So here is the Caribbean, and then we have, and that's another great. We'll do a Pirates of the Caribbean places around the world. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. So I gotta write all these things down. So we'll move right down, and we'll see here's Florida, and we'll take the next stop on our Harry Potter. And if this is, we're back. We'll move all the way to New York, and we'll go to a government office, which is was the spin-off and was used for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So it's a magical Congress of the United States of America. So this fictional America that has wizards headquarters. It was here in United States, and it's actual building. So right here we see the New York, we see Manhattan, and we'll fly right in to a government office in New York City that it was used for the Magical Congress of the United States. So you can actually see. And what's really interesting about places like New York and places like Tokyo and places like England and London, we actually get a chance to kind of do a very detailed maps, and we can actually see, the entrance of this great place where the Magical Congress of the United States was, or this building was used for that, in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So an incredible place. So let's take a look inside, and you see all these just wonderful architecture. You see all the glass ceilings, and you see all the marble columns that were used to kind of portray that magical modern world, which is so interesting to see in that movie. So as we kind of look around and we see, let me show you, like, and before we keep on going, let's do a little bit of an activity, as we're going to be looking to do just your own little Harry Potter, and we'll be able to just kind of take a quick look. So I'm going to leave the map of New York City as we take a quick look of New York. There it is. So we are now in Manhattan, and here it is, the island all the way through, and you can take a quick look and you see, and this is New York City. So I'm just going to leave it a little bit close, and now I'm just going to go to the activity page, and we'll be able to do so a cute little activity that we have, very easy, and I hope that you'll enjoy it, and maybe you can build any of these 3 characters. I particularly started already with Harry, so it's really easy. The first thing that you need is just a little roll of toilet paper, and you can find that in anywhere. If not, you can actually take some of the rolls of paper towels and you can cut them up, and that would be able to have 3 of them, and you can create these characters. So that one of the first things to do is just make sure that you cover them completely with a white sheet of paper. If not, you'll see that the characters kind of they don't look quite as good, and then it'll be a little bit more difficult. So the only thing that you do is cut around, and then have the piece of paper just folded. You can, I used a strip of tape to just paste them together right in the back, and then on top you can just fold it and fold it. It doesn't have to be neat, because the cool thing about the top is that it's actually part of the hair, so you can actually have it a little bit flowy, and the more kind of wrinkly, the better. So as you can see, we have the first, the first fully wrapped toilet paper roll, and the next step is actually pretty easy, which is creating those little eyes, and the eyes are actually created from cardboard, or you can have thin cardboard. But there's a trick, and the trick about being able to make these shoes, being able to have those little round circles as neatly as possible. So here is actually the trick to do that. So you take a marker and just take the top off, and you'll be able to use that marker as a guide, and I'll show you what that looks like. So you take a pencil or you take a marker, and I use black markers typically, and then just take some of the scraps that we have used before, and here's just kind of a little bit of scrap of cardboard, and we'll make a little bit of a little circle using that cap. So as you go around and you go around, you'll be able to actually make a little circle, and I'll just make one across, and you'll be able to see it. There you go. Just a little circle using the cap. Doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to cut around it, and then we're going to just do the edge black. So once you cut that out, then we are able to actually, we'll be able to just place 2 of them together, and now you have the iconic glasses for Harry Potter. So once we have that, and we have that ready, and you can place them together, then the next is actually cutting up a long strip of paper, and having that long strip is going to become just a long strip of paper is going to become the scarf. So what I've done is that I've make sure that you have enough, and just you can place right across and then around, so you'll be able to have the scarf right for Harry Potter. And you can actually see how it starts to look pretty much like the one that they're already colored. So let me put this together and just add a little bit of trusty tape. That's the only materials that I use typically is tape, markers, and a little bit of cardboard. So as we kind of move and do, it doesn't really matter what color tape that you use, because we typically will tape them together and right on top. And there it is. We have a scarf, used for Harry Potter. And now the next thing that we're going to do is that we are going to start doing a little bit of the coloring, and you'll see how that starts to look. So I'll start with at the top. I'll take just one of my markers, and I have a black marker that should be right here. It is. And we'll start with the hair. So as you can see, I'm going to start just coloring very roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect, just getting the edge. And once you start getting the edge, and that will get right here. So just make sure that first you do the edge, and now we'll do the swish that Harry Potter has. And we'll do one, as you can see. We'll do the second one. Now the second one is important, because the second one leaves right at the great spot where we can actually place the scar. So, very iconic for Harry Potter. And once we do that, we'll just make a third one, just kind of like that moppy hair that Harry has. And we'll just start coloring right in black, and we'll see just how it starts to look. So we got one, we'll get the second one right here, and we got the third one. 3 colors going right through, and there it is. You see how it starts to look, pretty much like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just going to paint around the edges of the glasses that we have. So just kind of paint around. It doesn't have to be perfect, because as we know, Harry's glasses always gets dinged, and we will have just another again. And that what's really interesting about Harry is not so much the glasses, because that's really iconic. There we go. But now the cool thing is his bright green eyes. So we'll use a little bit of green, and we'll use the brightest green that we can get. So we'll be able to color his eyes, and just make sure that you place him right in the center. If not, he'll look a little bit cross-eyed. And there we go. And make sure it's even from one side to the next. And you're starting to get, just a full Harry Potter little doll. Here we go. So now we're just going to do a little bit of the detailing. We'll do his mouth. Very simple and small. And then we'll just use the scar. And the scar is just, it's almost like a lightning bolt. And there we go. A little scar, Harry Potter. And then we can start adding a little bit more of the detailing back and forth. And we'll be able to use that to get it ready to be painted. So as I start adding some more detail and adding some more detail, ready to paint our Harry Potter, character. So, which one do you like the most? You'll have all 3 right there. So we have Harry Potter, we have a very simple way to actually then, and now you can start coloring. You can take the scarf off and then color it and then use some of the rest of the colors, but really simple and giving us a really cool canvas to play along and just kind of cut around and being all set. All right, so another cute little activity using, our Harry Potter. Actually, I'm going to leave him right back here. That way you can take a look. I think he should be showing up. Yeah, there it is, right next to me. So we'll actually keep on moving and take the last few places before we go for today. So let's kind of move along and go right back to our great places. We are now in New York City and now taking a quick look at some of the great places where Fantastic Beasts and where to find them was filmed. And this is the one of the government offices in New York City that was used for the magical American Wizarding headquarters. So it's called the Woodworth Building, right down in New York City, right in Manhattan. So here it is, a great place. As you can take a quick look, we take a bird's eye view of Manhattan here in New York City. All right, so let's kind of pan out and take a quick look of where we are. We are in the United States, and we are actually, we have gone to two places here as we're doing our celebration of Harry Potter. We have gone to Orlando, Florida, where the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, it's a full park is done. And then we have gone to the government office where the Fantastical Beast and Where to Find Them was also filmed in the Woodworth Building. So we've gone to two places. So let's kind of pan out and we'll go to our next stop here and we're going to go to the theater in London. So a theater in London is a Palace Theater, and this is where this record-breaking number of awards in a two-part play, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, runs in this Victorian play on West End. So this is a theater where a production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child has been playing and has gotten all sorts of incredible awards. So it's this beautiful theater in the West End in London where this great play has been done. So we're just gonna dive in and we're gonna look at this full area on the West End of London, and we'll see all these great theater right in front. So we'll see if we can go even as close as we can. And wow, yeah, we can go all the way to actually seeing the front part of the Harry Potter section. And we definitely, being this great play right at West End, a theater district, as not only is become movies, places, but now a full-fledged play here at the West End. So record-breaking awards as we kind of pan out and take a look at London. We were just in New York a second ago, and now we're just looking bird's eye view of London as we keep celebrating Harry Potter and keep moving forward. We've got two more places to go before we kind of time runs out. So we're going to move to our next stop is the British Library, right? And this is where J.R. Rowling started doing a lot of the drafts of Harry Potter. So this is where she did all the research. So it researched artifacts and it researched all types of magical elements to bring the characters to life. So one of the great things about specifically Harry Potter is that it was based on these grounded magical history. So since it was built on that, J.R. Rowling, the author was able to do a lot of research, and most of your stories will include all sorts of mythical creatures, all sorts of elements brought back from history, and that is what's so much fun to study history in that way. I know that Mr. Adam has used some of the references of Greece to be able to do his into the Dungeonverse activities. So this is another great example. We're taking a look at the British Library here in London, where J.R. Rowling used to research all the elements of the world of Harry Potter. We'll go to one last place before we can go, and we'll go all the way to the set of where the movies were actually filmed. So this is the actual set in Warner Brothers Studios in England. So this is the actual sound stage. So you can see all the lights, the sounds, and every place of Diagon Alley that was actually created and replicated so the movies could be shot. So it's a really interesting, all sorts of effects can be done, but this is really how the movies were actually filmed. You create this world within the Warner Brothers Studios, and then as you go in, you can actually get a chance to look. And I think as I turn around and look at some of the great places, for not only the apothecary, but also here's all the cauldrons, and then you can see right here, right at the edge, I think that was really neat, all the green screens. So when you start shooting and having the actors move back and forth, and you look down the street, we have a huge green screen to kind of add some additional effects and make it look as great as it looks. So incredible place here in Warner Brothers Studios in England that was used for the Harry Potter movies and also Diagon Alley, among other great sites. So I hope they really enjoyed today as we kind of been moving along in seeing some of the great places that the Harry Potter movies were filmed, actual true places. We've got to Scotland, we saw some castles. We've been to England several times, not only the actual tables where the story came to life, but we went all the way to Orlando in Florida to actually see some of these places, and we're just now in the studio where all these movies were filmed. So great places as we travel the world, around the world with Mr. Walter. We have gone to England, Scotland, we went to Florida, we went to New York City in a blink of an eye, just following the trails of how these great movies were put together and how imagination can create it coming from the world that you know. So that is an important place. So coming up next, we have a few things. So we have the steam train coming up in 5 minutes with Mr. Dorian. Then at 4 o'clock, we have the Numi Vault. So the Numi Vault comes in with Mr. Ben using classic puzzles and brain twisters. And then at 5, we have our closing arguments and the closing messages with, these are for parents, this is for Mr. Justin. So I really hope that you stay in. Make sure, and thank you for watching and tuning in for real inspired learning for all. And remember always to pursue your passion. And this is one of my passions. I'm one of the dungeon masters. We get a chance to play and create wonderful worlds. So follow us as we're going to be setting up some online gaming with Mr. Adam and myself. We're going to go to a far away lands, and we make sure that have some great fun gaming. And make sure that you do follow this passion, and your passion is reading and writing, creating stories. What a great moment to do that. Break out again some of the Harry Potter books, and or watch some of the movies and get inspired by all these places. And then you can use Google Earth, just like I do every day, to kind of explore some of these wonderful places. So make sure that you actually tune into that passion until it becomes your talent. So thank you again. This is Mr. Walter from around the world. Thank you everybody that joined in and was actually saying hi to me on the chat. So thank you, Mr. Ben. Thank you, Mr. Adam. Thank you, Nicole. All of you guys, great. Thank you for joining in. So have fun this rest of the afternoon. Enjoy what's rest of the week as well. We will see you tomorrow for something different again as we explore the world. So thank you for watching and thank you for being part of the New Minds TV. Have a great day.